Namaste. My name is Lynn Sellers. Thank you so much for joining me for class today, for this Dharma Yoga class as taught by Sri Dharma Mittra, living yoga master, rooted in the classical form of Hatha Raja Yoga. Yogis believe that a portion of God exists within the right side of the physical heart as the living soul, the real you. There is a cavity there on the right side of the heart, about the size of your thumb. And within that cavity, subtler than an atom, the divine spark, the innermost self. So as you move through the asana practice, as you're doing your postures, they should be your prayers. They should be acts of devotion and love. If you can, offering all the fruits of your actions to the innermost self. The self is the same in all living beings, dwelling right there in the heart. That way you reach everyone, everywhere. If that is difficult for the mind to grasp, then at least offering the postures, offering your practice to someone you love or those who are suffering. Any physical action can become greater than meditation, as taught in the Bhagavad Gita, if we renounce the fruits of our actions. So have no expectation for the end result, no attachment to the end result. Do it because it has to be done. Do it with pure love and devotion. The prayers moving you through the practice. Let's begin now. Bringing all the attention now to the center of the chest, to the right side of the physical heart, to the spiritual heart. Eyes closed, going inside. All is within. Do the Oms together now, 3 Oms. If you can, imagine merging with everyone and everything at this moment. May all beings be happy and free from suffering. Let's do the mantra 3 times together. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere enjoy this practice, receiving the benefits somehow through the mind, the body, and the senses. Let's come to standing. We'll warm the body with the Surya Namaskara. Sun salutations. Stand at the front of the mat, hands to the heart. Go back. Go down, Uttanasana, chest to thighs. You may bend the knees. Right foot steps back, Kapiyasana. Kali Mudra with the hands. Reach the arms back, stretch. High plank. Knees and forehead down, seat to heels. Pulling through cobra. Shoulders back, legs together. Downward facing. Right foot steps, Kapiyasana. Feet together, Uttanasana. Chest and thighs together, shoulders and knees together. Stretch the arms, palms together, go back. Hands to the heart. Again, go back. Go down. Left foot back this time. Same thing, Kapiyasana. Keep the hips low. Squeeze the shoulder blades, straighten the arms. High plank. Knees and forehead, seat to heels. Cobra pose. Downward facing. Left foot steps, Kapiyasana. Feet together, Uttanasana. Going up and back. Hands to the heart. Keep going. Go down. Right foot back. Same thing, or if you can practice the bind here. Sink the hips low, straight line from thigh to thigh. If you can, bend the back leg. You have to have a good Kapiyasana, a good monkey pose for this. So bringing the heel toward the seat, turn the torso to the side like me, and try to take the toes into the crease of the elbow. If you flex the toes, it'll help keep the foot there. Clasp the hands, take the arms behind the back of the head. So if you find that you're stuck here, you're not back enough. You have to keep working on Kapiyasana. Even if the arms come behind the head and you're stuck here, keep working on your Kapiyasana or keep squeezing the shoulders. Open the chest, press the toes to the elbow, open, lift the gaze. High plank. This time, Chaturanga Dandasana, low plank, upward facing, thighs off the floor, downward facing. Now right foot between the hands, Kapiyasana or Kapotasana variation, the pigeon variation. Again, if you're doing the variation, bend the back leg, take the foot close to the seat to help get the toes into the crease of the elbow. Turn the torso, this helps. Clasp the hands, hands behind the back of the head. And then open the chest. Push the toes into the crease of the elbow to help open you deeper, lifting the gaze. Too much, go back to Kapiyasana, the monkey pose. Keep working here to bring the shoulders over the hips. Okay, left foot meets the right, Uttanasana. Go up, go back. Hands to the heart. Go back. Go down. Left foot back this time. Kapiyasana or Kapotasana variation. So you can take the Kapiyasana. You can take the Kapotasana variation with the bind, or if you can do the full pose, foot to the head, bend the back leg. You have to grab the foot with the palm facing toward the ceiling. Turn the torso like you did for the bind. to bring the foot to the shoulder, and then lifting the chest, gaze, and elbow to the ceiling. Release, high plank. We're gonna do our Urdhva Dhanurasana prep here, upward facing bow prep. Bend the right leg, place the foot behind the left leg, flattening the left foot, lift the hips, reach the right arm back. Trying to touch the floor if you can, Urdhva Dhanurasana, bend the knees, find your way into upward facing. Stretch, engage the back body, the glutes. Protect your spine, open up the front body. Now return to high plank. Go to the other side now. So going to the right, come into the prep, bend the left leg onto the ball of the left foot, flatten the right foot about a 45-degree angle. See how I'm lifting the hips? Both hips toward the ceiling, reaching left arm back. If you can, find Urdhva Dhanurasana. Otherwise, stay in the prep. Don't force anything. Okay, returning. High plank. Low plank. Upward facing. Downward facing. Left foot steps between the hands. Kapiasana, the monkey pose, or Kapitasana variations. Pigeon pose. Same as the other side. This, the bind, or the full pose. Turn the torso to bring the palm of the hand to the top of the foot. So the palm is facing up, foot to the shoulder, and then lift the elbow. You keep the hips low. One or two hands on that back foot. Release, feet together, Uttanasana. Go up, go back, hands to the heart. Go back, go down. From here, Bakasana or Kakasana. So you can take the crow or the crane. Crow pose, knees near the armpits. I'm gonna face this way. So they stick out to the sides here. See how I'm squatting, hands shoulder width distance apart, balancing on the hands. Seat stays low. Or Kakasana, knees right into the armpits, not on the sides of the arms. Again, balancing on the hands. Rounding the spine. From here, jump back, chaturanga. Upward facing, downward facing. Rest here and downward facing, stretching, elbows straight, trying to bring the head to the floor. Top of the head, forehead, maybe the chin or chest. You can bounce. Stretch. Left foot steps, warrior one, lower the back heel. Sink into the knee, extend the arms overhead. Back leg strong and straight. Gaze lifted. Warrior two, side warrior. Arms into a T, gaze out over left fingertips. Make sure that left thigh is close to perpendicular to the floor. Paririta Parshvakonasana, revolved side angle, pivoting onto the ball of the back foot. Reach through the right, twist to the left. Take the upper arm, or if you can, the shoulder to the outside of the left leg. Hands can be at the center of the chest in prayer. Or if you have the bind, taking the bind, clasping the hands, grabbing the wrist if you can. Stretch. If it's too much, right knee right underneath the hip in a box lunge. So the thigh, the right thigh, perpendicular to the floor, opening the chest. And release. Let's do the lizard pose. So the hands now will come to the inside of the left foot, right underneath the shoulders. Bring the right elbow down if you can, right under the shoulder. The left elbow under the shoulder, pulling the gaze, chest forward. No depressed lizards, not like that, like this. If you can, bring the chest down. Make sure you're coming forward as best you can, creating length so that the shin stays perpendicular to the floor. Not like this. This is like a broken lizard. No broken or depressed lizards here. If you know other variations, go ahead. A great pose to prepare the leg for going behind the head, stretching and opening the hip. From here, Vashisthasana, side plank. So if you can, this is very difficult. If you don't have this pose or haven't tried it, I'll show you other ways to go into it. Right hand right underneath of your shoulder. Take hold of the left big toe or the foot. You're going to curl the right toes under. I'm going to turn sideways to see this a little better. To come into the full pose from here, you're holding the toe. You're going to flatten the right foot, balancing on the foot and on the hand. Lift the hips, lift the gaze. Too much, you can come into the preparation. Left foot behind you. It's almost like the Salutation prep, but the left arm straight up. So you're ready to grab the knee, eventually the foot. Okay, release, high plank. Chaturanga Dandasana, upward facing, downward facing, and rest. Keep opening the chest. Close the eyes, go inside. Settling the breath if it is sped up. Warrior one on the right foot steps between the hands, lower the back heel. Gracefully sink into that front knee, extend arms overhead. Hips forward, torso forward. Warrior two. 90-degree angle with the front leg. Parivrita Parshvakonasana, revolve side angle. Pivot onto the ball of the back foot, lifting the heel, stretching through the left, twisting to the right. Again, try to close the gap of knee and shoulder. I'm turning this way so you can see if you're able to take the bind, holding the wrist or the forearm, try to straighten the forearm, or straighten the elbow, I'm sorry. Forearm is straight. Pull the shoulder ribcage back. That creates a deeper twist in the spine, hard to breathe. Wonderful for the organs, for the spine, the nerves. Again, too much. Lower the back knee down. And you can just have the hands in prayer, but not like this. Lift the chest, twist. Do your best. Uttanapadassana, lizard pose. Hands to the inside of the right foot now. Make sure everything's stacked perfectly. Hands right under the shoulders. Stretch through the left toes to the wall behind you. Lean to the left, elbow down. Right elbow down if you can. Keep pulling the chest forward, sinking deeper. If you can, come the whole way down. If you can't, it's okay. Staying right here. Offer the pose. Breathe into any areas of tension. Softening, releasing any blockages, any resistance. We're going to go into Vashisthasana, side plank, like we did on the other side. So if it was too much to grab the toe, and you just are coming into the preparation, you can just place the hands underneath of you, curl the back toes, and then flatten the left foot, bend the right leg to place the ball of the foot behind you. Lift the hips, lifting the right arm. You need some weight on that left hand. And then if you can, you may lift the back knee, or the back leg, take hold of the knee, or even the foot. Or you can come into it like we did, like a professional, taking hold of the toes and finding your way into it. High plank, low plank, upward facing, thighs off the floor, downward facing. Bring the knees to the mat, middle of the mat. Place the seat between your feet. If this is too much on your knees, sit on something. You can place a blanket, a block, anything under the seat. If you're comfortable, begin to lie back. You may come onto the elbows, or if you can, bring the back to the floor. Reach arms overhead, holding the opposite elbows with the hands. Close the eyes. Listening to the sound of the breath. Try to hear the mantra Om with every inhale, every exhale. Okay, let's sit up. Sarvangasana. So keep the left leg where it is. If you can, I'll come a little closer. And you're going to release the right leg, placing the right foot against the left thigh. If you have half lotus, take half lotus, foot right there in the crease of the thigh and the hip. If you have anything going on with the knee, if you've had a knee replacement or some injury, the left leg can extend straight out and you can do the same variations with the right leg. We're going to twist here. Twist to the right. If you can, hold the right foot if you're in the half lotus, or hold the thigh if you're not. Back of the left wrist to the right leg near the knee. To push with the wrist, pull with the right hand, gazing over the shoulder, twisting as deep as you can. If you can't hold anything, the foot or the thigh, right hand right behind your spine on the floor. Keep twisting. But if you can't hold something, push, pull, go deeper. Once you're to your limit, you close your eyes. Bring the attention to the space between the eyebrows, concentrating all of your attention there. Where the energy goes, or where the attention goes, the energy flows. All the prana rushing in to the mind's eye. Okay, release. We'll switch the legs. So on the other side now, right leg bends, toes near the seat. Not under the seat, next to the seat. Left foot against the thigh, unless you have the half lotus, take the half lotus. Again, if you have something going on with the knee, right leg can just extend straight out. Twist to the left now. Left arm wraps, finding the foot or the thigh. If you can't find anything, remember the hand can rest on the floor right behind your spine. Back of the right wrist presses into the leg near the knee. Use that as leverage to push deeper, engaging the muscles in the core to protect your spine as you twist. Pull the left shoulder and rib cage back, chin in line with the shoulder, twisting through the neck. Close the eyes, go inside. Attention on the space between the eyebrows. And release. Now the main poses. Up until now, just the warm-up. Now we head into the main poses. Once you've mastered the main poses, you should be able to do, or at least try to do, your meditation right here in the poses. What is meditation? Uninterrupted concentration. So trying to hold your concentration on the space between the eyebrows as we move through the rest series of the poses, the main poses. These are the poses that have the most benefits to all systems in the body. So if you're still working on them, you haven't mastered them yet, of course the focus is going to be on the physical until you're able to master the pose and leave the body by itself. Then you're able to go deeper inside, but that is the goal, to find meditation right here in the poses, especially the main poses. So we're going to go into Shirshasana, headstand, the king of the poses. If you can, if you have the Lotus Pose, we're going to do the headstand with the Lotus. Okay, if you're a professional at home and you know other variations of what I'm going to show you, all means, you can do the other variations. I'm going to show you first how to get into headstand from full lotus. If that's too difficult for you, then I'll show you how to get into it from the half lotus if you have a problem with going from legs straight up and finding the lotus on your own. Some people that's hard, you know, that the legs can't find it without the help of the hands a little bit. So I'll show you a few tricks here. And of course, like I said, if you're a professional, go ahead and go into the pose. Try to do the lotus in the headstand. This is the king of the poses. All the blood, all the prana is directed into the brain on a physical level, the prana being directed into the higher centers in the brain on a subtler level, psychic level. So the lotus increases the benefits of the pose. So if you don't have the lotus, don't worry. You do legs straight up, or if you don't have good balance, you do the beginner with the legs split. Okay, so I'm going to show you first the full lotus variation. So you come into full lotus. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do this from the full lotus. You coming into it into a tripod variation. So hands right underneath of the shoulders, and you'll have to lift one knee and place it, the leg right up on the top of the upper arm, near the armpit. And then see how the knee, my other knee that's on the floor, is between my two hands. That makes it easier when the head comes down to have leverage to lift the knee up onto the upper arm on the other side, using the upper arms as shelves. So the top of the head comes down. Make sure that you have space. Make sure you move your malas if they're in the way. And then from here, you have to press down to get that lift. Pressing to lift the knee on top of the other arm. From there, you can go up. When you come down, you bring the knee between the arms. Between the arms, so that makes it easier. If that's too much for you, too difficult, you can try, right? If you have a headstand, you have a lotus, you want to try that, you can try. It requires pushing down with the palms and the top of the head to get that lift and pulling everything in the navel center and in the pelvic floor, hugging everything in. I try to imagine that I have like a vacuum there, sucking everything in as you push down to get that lightness to lift you, okay? So if you have a lotus pose, but when you're in the headstand and you try to take it, you can't quite get a tight lotus pose. It's hard to get the feet up into there, or at least that second foot. You can get the first, but then the second one, you can't get it in. This is a nice trick that I learned from Sri Dharma. What you do is you do the half lotus first, okay? So when you come into it, you're gonna do the half lotus on one side. And whichever foot that you do first when you're going in, do that side first. Of course, elbows no wider than the shoulders, coming into the traditional variation. Top of the head to the floor. Again, move your malas if they're in the way. Lift the seat. Bring the hips over the shoulders.
lift the leg up. So you're already halfway there. You can swing the leg, the opposite leg, gain a little momentum. That momentum helps bring the foot into the full lotus there, near the crease of the thigh and the hip. Once you're in the pose, if you feel comfortable and you're able to, most of the weight in the head, make sure the shoulders away from the ears. If you can, you close the eyes. Bring all the attention, space between the eyebrows. Imagine the Om symbol there. Picturing the Om symbol. If it's hard to visualize the symbol, imagine you're standing at a chalkboard, drawing the symbol. If you need to come down and rest, go ahead, rest for a couple breaths, go back up. The longer you stay, the better for you. But of course, if you're experiencing pain, don't do it. You need to come down. Constant practice. You begin to find steadiness in the pose. Being able to stay in the poses longer. Remember, every posture done with love and devotion. It makes it easier, I promise. When you take the focus away from the physical, taking it away from the ego. Love to all beings. Thirty more seconds. Keep concentrating, brow center. Keep visualizing the Om symbol. You're in the lotus, release the lotus. If you can, shift the hips so you can lower the legs down together. Too much, one leg at a time. You may bring the knees into the chest or straight legs. Knees down, keep the head down, come into child's pose. Keep the attention on the brow center, don't lose your concentration. If you do, don't worry, it's okay, just come back. Come onto your backs now. We're gonna do the queen of the poses, the mother of the poses, Sarvangasana, shoulders stand. So come onto your backs. Legs are together, arms are by your sides, palms down. Lifting the legs, rolling right up onto the shoulders, catch the back with the hands. Begin to rock a little side to side. Be careful of your neck to bring the elbows closer together and higher up onto the shoulders. No pressure on the neck. Try to create a straight line from the shoulders to the feet the best you can. Close the eyes, bring the attention to the space between the eyebrows. Again, visualize the Om symbol there. Try to hold the body absolutely still. The plow pose. Hold the attention there at the brow center. Allow the body to move by itself. Reaching the legs overhead. If you can, come on to the tops of the feet. The dorsal region, moving the toes to the wall behind you. Hips higher over the face. Interlace the fingers together, going higher up onto the tops of the shoulders. Imagine the shoulder blades are going to touch, elbows are going to touch, going deeper. Return the hands to the back now. One leg at a time, return to shoulder stand. You should be a little deeper now. You're going to flip the hands for supported bridge. So the thumbs aim toward the spine, the rest of the fingers toward the front of the body. From here, split the legs, one leg going forward, one back, and we bend the knees. Begin to lower one foot to the floor, and then the other. Lift the hips to bring the heels closer toward each other near the spine. Squeeze the shoulder blades, the chest to the chin. If it's not to the chin, imagine that it is. Engaging the glutes, engage the lower back, squeeze the shoulder blades. If this is easy, straighten the legs with the legs together, not apart. Keep pressing, everything touching the floor down. Press hard with the shoulders, the arms. Bend the legs, lift the seat to release the arms, come to rest on your backs, recharging time. Breathe in through the pores of your skin now, inhaling through the pores of the skin to recharge. Exhale to relax, to release. Inhaling through the pores of the skin, imagining the best taking place. Exhale away all fatigue. Sarvangasana one more time, shoulder stand. This time, if you have full lotus, you do full lotus while in the pose. Otherwise, you repeat what we just did. But if you have the lotus, do it now. And then everybody going up. Together, it's not everybody, it's just you on the video. I'm used to saying that in class. So going up, legs straight if you're not in lotus. If you don't have full lotus, legs straight up. Do your adjustments. Get higher onto the tops of the shoulders, but be careful of the neck. If you have good balance and you're in the lotus, hands can come to the thighs. Close the eyes. Attention space between the eyebrows. Picture the Om symbol. It can be any color, any brightness. Become one with the Om. The Om represents the Almighty One. Halasana, plow pose. If you're in lotus, Pindasana, the embryo pose. Stay in lotus, lower the legs down toward the chest, wrapping the arms around the thighs to clasp the hands. Chest to chin. Keep doing the meditation or the concentration. Holding your attention there, stimulating the sixth sense, the mind's eye. Matsyendrasana, fish pose. Palms to the mat, very slowly release. Use the muscles in the abdominal region to have control as you roll down. If you're in the lotus, you stay. Lift the chest. Come on to the top of the head. Holding the feet, bring the elbows to the floor and knees toward the floor. If you don't have the lotus, legs are straight, hands underneath the thighs, the seat, with the palms down. Are you doing your meditation? Hold the attention there, brow center. The head stand the father, the shoulders stand the mother, the fish is the child. The three together, when practiced together, helping to awaken the Kundalini at the base of the spine, the Prana Shakti, helping to raise the consciousness. Urdhva if you can, bend the legs. Feet near the seat, so you're staying on the top of the head. Place the hands near the shoulders. If you don't have Urdhva do bridge pose or any other back bend. Lift the seat, then lift the top of the head, stretch. You may lift the heels, go a little higher. Remember to engage the back body, opening the chest, creating length in the spine, the arms and the legs. You can walk the hands a little closer to the feet. You can rock a little here. If you can, come onto the forearms. Pressing the chest to the wall behind you, away from the feet. If you can, you may straighten the legs. My floor is slippy, so be careful if your feet come off the mat. From here, if you're on the forearms, return to the palms. Stretch. And then release, chin to the chest. Come down, relax on your backs. Close the eyes, recharge. Inhale through the pores of the skin. Exhale away fatigue. Urdhva one more time. Bending the legs. Hands by the shoulders. If you want to, you can come into the preparation. It can help you go deeper. Preparation, cupping the hands like this, like Spider-Man or spider hands, or like you're gonna dribble a basketball. And you place the hands near the ears with the fingertips aimed at the top of the mat. Lift the hips, and you're gonna place the top of the head where the shoulders were. Then turn the hands going up. Stretch, try to straighten the elbows. Squeezing the shoulder blades to broaden across the chest. Engaging the glutes, the back body, protect your spine. If you can try to come to standing. But if you come to standing, you have to return. So if you don't know how to do this, just stay. Urdhva. If you came to standing, return. And then everybody slowly release. Come to rest on your backs. Recharge. Okay, let's sit up. We're going to do Sarvangasana. This is the front stretch pose or the incline pose. So traditionally, the hands are under your shoulders with the fingers aimed at your feet. You may do the traditional variation. If you have problems with the wrists, the shoulders, or it's too much for you, you may turn the hands the opposite way. It's just a different variation of the same pose. Press in to the hands to lift the legs, hips, navel toward the ceiling. Try to flatten the feet and do Prastrika Pranayama. Quick inhales and exhales through the nose like a sniffing dog. Exhale, release. Bend the knees. You're going to inhale, fill the lungs, hold the breath, chest to the chin, throat lock and root lock. So retracting the perineum, engaging the pelvic floor, like you're trying to touch the anus to the navel. Jalandhara Bandha, Mula Bandha, all the attention, space between the eyebrows. Release the locks, exhale. Inhale from the solar plexus up the spine to the brow center. Exhale back. Inhale, solar plexus up the spine. And exhale back. Let's do one more round. You may repeat the same variation with the legs straight, or if you have the Lotus Pose, take the Lotus. I'll show you here. When you go into it, fingers aim toward the back of your mat, and you're cupping the hands just like you did in the Urdhva prep, the upward facing bow prep. Cup the hands, turn the hands. So you're just on the pads of the fingers. When you lift, you're gonna lift the hips and lift everything up. Same thing, Bhastrika Pranayama. So go ahead, either variation. Focus on the navel. Exhale, release. Stay in the Lotus or bend the knees and wrap the arms. Inhale. Hold the breath. Throat lock, root lock. Jalandhara Bandha, Mula Bandha. Squeezing the locks. All the attention, space between the eyebrows.
Release locks, exhale with control, quietly. Inhale, solar plexus up the spine to the brow center. Exhale, back. Again, inhale, solar plexus up the spine to the brow center. And exhale, back. Last time. Inhaling up the spine to the space between the eyebrows. Exhale, back. Let's do the back stretch now. Legs straight out in front, Paschimottanasana. If you're able to do this with the legs straight, then you flex the feet. If you have tight hamstrings, the lower back is tight, or you have some issues going on, bend the knees and the feet are natural. Reach the arms up, stretch. Bring the chest to the thighs, shoulders near the knees. If you can, hold the heels, pull on the heels to bring the elbows down, head close to the feet. So if you have to, bend the knees. So this is connected. Keep stretching the spine, stretching the back. Or you can take the full pose, holding the big toes with the 2 fingers of each hand, pulling on the toes, bringing the elbows out to go deeper. Close the eyes. Bring the attention to the very base of the spine now. Concentrating there at Muladhara chakra. Try to imagine the best taking place. If you'd like, you may visualize a beautiful red aura there, beautiful red light to help hold the attention. And release the pose. So next, if you have the half lotus, left leg's going to extend straight, right leg into the half lotus. If you don't have half lotus, it's okay, just bend the right leg with the foot against the thigh. If you're in the lotus, wrap the right arm around the back to take the bind. If you can't take the bind or you don't have half lotus, both arms straight up. Otherwise, you're in the bind with the left arm up. Lengthen and then folding over the left leg. It's the same as the Paschimottanasana. If the hamstrings or lower back is tight, then you may bend the leg and you may soften the foot so it's just relaxed, not pointed, not flexed. If the leg is straight, then you begin to flex the foot, reaching the head toward the foot. Close the eyes. Try to hear the sound of the Om with the breath. Every inhale, Om. Every exhale, Om. And release. Switch the legs. Right leg extends now. Bend the left leg. Same thing, foot against the thigh if you don't have half lotus, or take the half lotus. Wrap the left arm around the back to find the bind. If you don't have bind, arms up. Otherwise, just the right arm up as you hold the left toe, folding over the right leg now. Bend the knee if you need to. Make sure that the torso isn't twisted, pulling that left shoulder down as well. Folding directly over the right leg. Close the eyes. Think of God in the poses or someone you love. Releasing the pose. Let's come up to standing now. Do a standing balance. Standing head to knee pose. So we'll do this balancing on the left leg first. Bending the right leg. Bring the chest to the thigh. Holding the heel if you can, so the fingers underneath the right heel. If that's too much, hold the ankle. Keeping the chest to the thighs, straightening the right leg. If you can't straighten the leg completely, that's okay. Try to keep the leg parallel to the floor. Not too high, it's easy to lift it too high. If you're flexible, you may flex the foot. If you have good balance, you may bring the head to the knee. And release the same way you came in. Tadasana. Close the eyes. Listen to the breath. Let's go to the other side. Balance on the right leg. Bend the left leg. Chest to the thigh. Fingertips under the left heel if you can. Otherwise, just hold the ankle. Extending left leg out. Make sure it's perpendicular to your right leg or parallel to the floor. If you can, you may flex the feet. You may bring the head down to the knee. It's harder to find the balance once you begin to lower the head down. It's not an easy pose. Just do your best. Break the pose, Tadasana. Again, just listen to the breath, settle your breath. So we're going to do the Stork Pose next. This is a variation of Uttanasana, the standing forward bend. You bring the feet hip-width distance apart, about hip-width distance apart. Bend the knees. So you can bring the chest to the thighs, off to the sideways at first. Chest to thighs, shoulders near the knees, the arms wrapped to the outside the legs, not the inside, outside. The hands will come right inside the knees, the inside of the knees, to take hold of the head. So if you have hold of the ears, a little trick is turn the head a little side to side to interlace the fingers behind the back of the head. Push the elbows to come into the full pose. I'll do it from sideways here. You may bend the knees. If you can't interlace the fingers, you stay. If you have the fingers interlaced behind the back of the head, then work on straightening legs, pushing the elbows. If you can, take the prayer hands behind the back of the head. Palms together, go deeper. Shift the body weight into the balls of the feet rather than the heels of the feet. Keep pressing through the heels, it helps. Don't go too deep, be aware of your limits. Remember not to worry about the end result. Don't be attached to the end result. It's a gift, a prayer. Go ahead, release.
We're going to come into the squatting pose, so feet mat width distance apart. Press the elbows to the thighs, lift the chest. Toes are wider than the heels to make it easier here. From here, Kakasana, crow pose. So close the gap of knees and shoulders, hands shoulder width distance, shift the weight to balance on the hands. If you can, bring the head to the floor, come into the headstand. If you can't, you just stay in the crow. If you don't have the crow, you keep working on the crow. If you're in headstand, bend the legs, return to the crow. You have to pull the navel in, press into the hands. From here, jump back, come onto the belly, and rest. Go to sleep for a moment. Close your eyes. I'm gonna get a little tool here. Okay, so on the belly, we're going to do one leg, foot to head pose, Ekapada Shirshasana. So I'll show you different variations. Like we did with the pigeon pose in the sun salutations, reaching back when you bend the leg. We're going to bend the right leg first. You're on your belly, bending the right leg. So you can have the forearm running parallel to the front of your mat to lift the chest a little. Bend the right leg. And in order to grab the foot, it's like you're hitchhiking. Thumb back, palm raised toward the ceiling, so you're grabbing the top of that foot. Bringing the foot to the shoulder, and then if you can, lifting into the pose. If you can't grab the foot, and you have something, you have tight shoulders, you have to be very careful that you don't go too deep. You can use a ring like this, a strap, if you have a belt, a scarf, anything that you can create a loop with, you can wrap that around the foot, palm up, same thing. This just gives you longer arms. Wonderful to protect the shoulder, but it helps you to open up to find that with time. These help me tremendously. So, hand to the shoulder, you lift the leg, and then you can reach back, holding the loop with both hands. Taking it like this, trying to stretch, trying to open up here. Right, and you can try to take the foot to the head. If you don't have something like this, or a strap or something at home and you can't grab the foot, do the one leg bow pose. Okay, so you reach back, holding the leg near the ankle on the outside. Left arm extends out, everything lifting. So that is your options. Okay, go ahead. So if you can now, coming into the full pose, either with some help with a ring, or a strap or a belt, or if you have the full, you can grab the foot and you can help bring the elbow in. And go ahead, release. We'll go to the other side, same thing. And actually I'll show you a little trick here too. I had an old injury on this shoulder, on my left shoulder, and it limits my mobility, but it's taught me all kinds of tricks. So another little trick when you're going to grab the foot, if you're really close and you're here and you can't grab it, come up on the right palm, on the opposite palm. That gives you a little more space to grab it. See? So I have the limited mobility on my left. I have to help it a little bit to find that. Or use the ring, the loop, using a strap, do the same. Or again, you may take the half bowl, any of those variations. And release, rest, resting on the abdomen, relaxing.
Let's do Dhanurasana, the bow pose now, the full bow. Bend the legs. Take hold of the legs near the ankles. So you're going to kick the legs into the hands, stretching. You can rock here. Balancing on the thighs maybe if you can. Or if you know the full pose, same thing, you're grabbing the tops of the feet. Maybe just one side. Maybe you can do both sides. Or any other variations of the bow that you know. Break the pose, bring the thighs together, come to rest, child's pose. Okay, next we're going to do the forearm balance. This variation of the forearm balance that we're going to do, we're going to start with the head on the floor, like from a headstand, and then go into the forearm balance. If you're still working on headstand, you just work on the headstand. If you're afraid of the forearm balance, you're afraid of lifting the head, you keep working on the headstand. Dharma says that fear attracts accidents, so I don't want you attracting accidents if you're deathly afraid. And I'm not there in person. Nobody's there in person to help you. Okay, but let me show you how we're going to do this, and you can follow along. Come on to the forearms. Elbows should be no wider than your shoulders. If they're too wide, it's going to be impossible to go up or extremely hard to go up. So elbows no wider than shoulders to set the base. The palms are down flat on the mat, not interlacing the fingers, palms down. You're going to place the top of the head between the forearms. Lift the seat, walk the feet in. Lift one leg, then the other. Splitting the legs in the inversions is the easiest variations to play with the balance. Now trying to lift the head from the floor. You have to press down with the forearms. The hips shift a little bit. That leg that's extending further away shifts down a little bit. Oh, that wasn't very good. I'll try it again. And then the gaze comes to the wrists, as you see. You can use a wall. This foot that I'm wiggling here, that's the foot on the wall, and that helps you to find the center of gravity because it switches. That's why the hips shift a little bit. You're pressing in, so you have to shift the center of gravity when you lift the head. Having this foot on the floor helps. Go ahead, release. Rest in child's pose. We're going to do one more forearm balance. You can repeat what we just did with the head on the floor, working from there. If you're working on headstand, you can work from there. Otherwise, you do it with the head up. If you already know the forearm balance, you can go ahead. There's so many different variations, or you can follow me. If you're working on trying to master the forearm balance, again, it's the elbows that are no wider than your shoulders. If they go too wide, you won't have a good base. It's okay for the hands to come closer. That's more natural. It's good to be natural in the poses. You want to make sure when you're going up, the shoulder blades don't move together. If they move towards each other, it's like a cobra, and the face and chest are going to sink to the floor. So you want to broaden between the shoulder blades to keep a good base, a good structure to the pose so you're not collapsing. Okay, so forearms down, elbows no wider than the shoulders. Lift the seat,
Walk the feet in. Try to bring the hips over the shoulders. Gaze is between the forearms. So keep the gaze between the forearms. You can simply just start hopping on one side until you find the balance. Like I said, it's easiest with legs split. Of course, eventually the legs will come together. If you have a lotus, you can find the lotus in the pose or any other variation. You can use a wall if you need to. If you're using the wall, you want to make sure you have enough space. And doing it with the split legs is really nice because it helps you to play with the balance. And you're not just lying on the wall. You know, it's not just holding you up. You're actually just using your tiptoes to find that balance. Okay, go ahead, release. Rest in the child's pose once more. Lifting the torso now. Actually, let's do one more forearm balance. Before we go into the final twist, let's do one more forearm balance. You can, we're going to do this with split legs. Even if you can bring the legs straight up, you know all the other poses and variations of this pose, we're going to do it with the legs split. If you don't have a good Urdhva an upward facing bow, you just, you stay with the legs split, or you can do other variations. But if you have a good Urdhva we're going to go up with legs split. So coming back onto the forearms, gaze between the forearms. You have to try to get the hips over the shoulders. Broaden between the shoulder blades. Keep that strong, the shoulders strong. If you can, lifting one leg. Split the legs. So then if you have a good Urdhva you're going to lower one foot and the other onto the floor to come onto the forearms and the feet. Keep pressing the chest away from the shoulders, rocking a little here. Now if you can, you're going to return. Now child's pose and rest. Just a little something to play. We have to have some playtime in the poses to keep it interesting, to keep it fun, right? Let's do the spinal twist. Left knee, Matsyendrasana, left knee at the front of the mat. Right foot on the outside of the left knee. So the right knee is aimed at the top or up toward the ceiling. Right hand behind you. Reach the left arm across the right leg. Coming to the outside of the right leg. The hand can be on the hip here. Reach through the top of the head and twist. Of course, if you have the bind, you can find the bind. When you're doing the bind, make sure you're not stuck like this, folding forward. Make sure you're able to lift up, pull the rib cage, shoulder back, opening the chest. Focuses on a nice deep twist in the spine. You have to have space, openness to be able to twist nice and deeply. Once you're there, close the eyes. Bring all the attention to the space between the eyebrows. Go ahead, release. Switch the legs, right knee aimed at the front center of the mat, left foot at the outside of the right leg, near the knee, not near the hip. Create some space to go deeper. Right arm to the outside of the left leg. The hand can rest on the hip, on the heel, or taking the bind. Try to do the same thing you did on the other side. Both sits bones rooting into the floor.
Pressing into the floor, pushing, pulling through the top of the head. Pushing with the right rib cage, pulling with the left. Chin in line with the shoulder. Close the eyes, go inside. Release the pose. Come to rest on your backs for the relaxation. So make sure that you get nice and comfortable on your backs. Okay, this is meditation done while lying on your backs. Deep healing, relaxation. You may cover up if you need to. Whatever you need to do to be comfortable. Close the eyes now. Feeling the weight of the body sinking into the floor as you begin to let go. Let's relax the left side of the body first. Beginning with the left hand and fingers, all of your attention there. Relax the fingers, the hand completely. Feel everything growing heavy, growing loose, dead-like. The forearm, upper arm, and the shoulder, let it go. Relax the hip joint, buttocks on the left side. The flesh just hanging from the bone. Everything loose and heavy, dead-like. The thigh, knee, and the lower leg and ankle. The attention like a scanning light, charging, relaxing everything as it passes through. The foot and all of the toes, let them be. Go to the right hand and fingers. Completely relaxing everything there. Imagining the attention, attracting the best that there is, exactly what you need into every cell. The lower arm, upper arm, and the shoulder. The hip joint region and buttocks now. All of your attention there. Receiving help from the celestial being. The celestial beings offering help to the cells, the little tiny beings that give you light, every day, sending love everywhere. Gratitude for their help. The thigh, knee, and the lower leg and ankle. Little by little, body disappearing like under anesthesia. Losing consciousness of the body. The foot and the toes letting go. Go to the back now, upper back. Shoulder blade region, heavy sinking down. The lower back. Relax the abdomen, rib cage,